Hola, buenos días. Yo soy el señor Morris. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Now, have you all been practicing your Spanish from our last few classes? Espero que sí. Today we're going to go ahead and go over what we've done in our previous classes, and then we'll introduce some new things for you to kind of integrate and keep practicing, okay? I'll tell you what, let's begin with our canción de saludos. Canten todos conmigo. Hola, hola, buenos días, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Todos juntos ya estamos listos para aprender. Muy bien, very well, son. Tell you what, let's go ahead and begin by reviewing what we've been talking about in our previous lessons. Okay, now, you may remember that the last time when we went over our dialogue with our greetings and things, we added some new lines and some new words to that. Does anyone remember what we did? Well, I tell you what, let's see. Let's go over it again right now real quickly. Okay, repitan todos. Hola, ¿cómo te llamas? And you answer by saying, Me llamo. And then you go ahead and put your own name in there. Oh, I'd like to remind you, students and teachers, in the teacher's guide, there's a page there of names in Spanish. If you want to, you can look in there and see if your name is listed. If it is, you can find out what your name is in Spanish. If you don't find your name in there, you can maybe pick out a name that you've always wanted to be called in Spanish. Go ahead and pick out a name and choose a Spanish name for yourself. My first name is Robert. So in Spanish, that would be Roberto. So if anybody asked me, I'd say, Me llamo Roberto Morris. Let's go ahead and continue now. Repitan, ¿cómo estás? Estoy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? Estoy bien, gracias. And then you say, Adiós. Or you can say, Hasta luego. Muy bien. Ahora, todos busquen una pareja. Everyone get a partner to practice with. Okay, get your partner, and let's see who's going to go first. The person whose name comes first in the alphabet, your last name comes first in the alphabet, you'll speak first. Okay, now we'll do it 2 times, so everybody will get to do both parts. ¿Listos? Let's go ahead and start with the first person. Hola, ¿cómo te llamas? Second person, you answer. Me llamo, and tell them your name. Okay, first person, you ask them now. ¿Cómo estás? Okay, second person, you answer them, you say, Estoy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? Okay. First person, you answer them, you say, Estoy bien, gracias. Okay. Second person, go ahead and tell now, Adiós. And first person, you say to them, Hasta luego. Muy bien hecho. Tell you what, now go ahead and change it around, and the person who spoke first last time will speak second this time, and vice versa. Okay? Let's go ahead. Now the first person, say, Hola, ¿cómo te llamas? Second person, you answer, me llamo, and use your Spanish name if you want to. First person, you ask them, ¿Cómo estás? Okay. Second person, you answer them, Estoy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? Okay. First person, you say, Estoy bien, gracias. Okay, second person, now's your chance. Adios. And first person, here you go, you tell them, Hasta luego. Muy bien. And remember, as I told you in the first class, the best way to learn this is to practice it. So keep practicing with your classmates, practice with your teacher, and your family. And speaking of family, we've also been studying about the members of the family. Vamos a repasar los miembros de la familia. The first person that we're going to look at over here is Pedro. Let's talk about Pedro's relationship to Marta y Esteban. He would be in English their father. En español es el padre o el papá. Repitan todos, el padre o el papá. Yeah. Then we talk about Luz and her relationship to Marta y Esteban. Pedro es el padre o papá. Luz es la madre o la mamá de Marta y Esteban. The next person that we talked about was down here, Marta. And we said, what is her relationship to Esteban? What is Marta's relationship to Esteban? Well, she's his sister in English. En español es la hermana de Esteban. Remember, we don't pronounce that H. La hermana. Repitan. Okay. The next person is Esteban here. What is his relationship to Marta? Well, he is her brother in English. Y en español es el hermano. El hermano. You see, that word is kind of similar to hermana. Only if it's a boy, it ends with O. Then we talk about Marta's relationship to Luz y Pedro. She is their daughter in English. En español, ella es la hija de Luz y Pedro. Marta es la hija de Luz y Pedro. And again, we don't pronounce the H. And we talk about Esteban and his relationship to Luz y Pedro. If Marta es la hija, Esteban es el hijo de Luz y Pedro. El hijo. And that's pretty easy because, again, the hija changes to an O. Hijo for the boy. Now, we said that Pedro is the padre or papá of Marta y Esteban, but Pedro has a father also. Su papá es Luis. What is the relationship of Luis to Marta y Esteban? He's their grandfather. En español es el abuelo. El abuelo. Repitan. Okay. And Pedro's mamá, or madre, is Carmen. What is her relationship to Marta y Esteban? Luis es el abuelo. Carmen es la abuela. La abuela. And again, we see that the O from abuelo changes to A when we're talking about a woman. I think I see a pattern. Now, Pedro tiene un hermano. Pedro's brother is Miguel. What is Miguel's relationship to Marta y Esteban? Well, he's their father's brother. He is their uncle in English. En español es el tío. El tío. Repitan. Okay, so if he is el tío, Susana He's their uncle, she's their aunt. If it's a man, it's tío, and Susana es la tía de Marta y Esteban. La tía. Very good. Now, Miguel y Susana have some kids. David es el hijo de Miguel y Susana. What is his relationship to Esteban and Marta? He's the son of their aunt and uncle. He's their cousin in English, y en español es el primo. El primo. That's right, el primo. Repitan. He is el primo. What is Rosa? What is her relationship to Marta y Esteban? He is the primo, she is la prima. And again, we see how that changes if it's a boy or a girl, a man or a woman. So there's a lot of patterns in there that you'll probably recognize. Now I have a new question for you. Who remembers how to ask someone what their name is? You remember? From our dialogue, we say, ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? But what if I want to ask about the name of someone else? Say I want to know your mother's name. I would ask you like this. ¿Cómo se llama tu mamá? Repitan todos. ¿Cómo se llama tu mamá? Now, do you see the difference between these two questions? Let's look at these now. ¿Cómo te llamas? If I'm going to ask you, and then down here, ¿Cómo se llama tu mamá? And you see te when I'm asking you, and se if I'm asking about somebody else, llamas if I'm asking you, and llama if I'm asking about someone else. Now, when you answer that, say someone asked me, ¿Cómo te llamas? They said that to me. I would say, Me llamo Roberto Morris. But if I'm telling someone else's name, I would say, Se llama, and then I'd say the name. Do you see the difference here? If someone asks me my name, I say, Me llamo Roberto Morris, my name. But if they ask about somebody else, they say, what's that person's name? I'll say, Se llama, and then I'll tell them the person's name. So you go ahead and practice. Let me see. I'm going to ask you students right now, and I want everybody to answer me. ¿Cómo se llama tu mamá? And you answer me, se llama, and tell me your mother's name. Okay, good. You can practice that with different family members and people in your class. What if I want to ask about a friend of yours who is a boy? Okay, he's a boy. Do you know how to say friend in Spanish? I would say it like this. ¿Cómo se llama tu amigo? ¿Cómo se llama tu amigo? Now, who can guess what I would ask if I was asking about a friend who is a girl? Remember, we've been talking about family members. So, ¿cómo se llama tu amigo? If I'm asking about a girl, I would say, ¿Cómo se llama tu amiga? Repitan. ¿Cómo se llama tu amiga? But you know what? The answer would still be the same. We'd still say, se llama, and then we'd say the person's name, whether it's a boy or a girl. Well, I tell you what, ahora vamos a repasar con un video. And this one is going to be about some greetings. And see if you can see the new forms as we go into there. Okay? And try to figure out all of the answers as they say them on there. Repeat all of the things they say. Presten atención y repitan todas. Saludos. Buenos días. ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Roberto. ¿Cómo estás? Estoy bien. ¿Cómo se llama tu papá? Se llama Jaime. ¿Y tú? ¿Cómo estás? Estoy bien, gracias. Tell you what, let's go ahead and look now at the activity sheet for today's lesson. It is called Mi Familia. So we're going to be talking about our own families today. And you know what? On this activity sheet, let me show you. Go ahead and start up here by putting your name. I'm going to write my name. Okay. Roberto Morris. Okay, go ahead and write your name on there, and then the instructions will tell you, draw and label your own family tree. Now you know, the great thing about this is when you draw your own family, it might not be the same as everyone else's. You know what? It's going to be uniquely yours, and it's not going to be wrong because it's your family. And you know what? If I was going to do mine, I'd probably do something that looks kind of like this one that I worked on. Aquí estoy yo, Scott, mi hermana, hermano, mi papá, mi mamá, mi abuelo, abuela, tío, tía, prima, primo. Those are all of my family members, so I'd probably draw some of those people on my family tree. Now, after you finish drawing the family tree, you can use this vocabulario, the vocabulary down here. Down at the bottom, there's a busca palabras. We're going to do a word search. So see if you can find the words from the vocabulary in here. And let me see, I think I saw one here. I'm going to give you a head start. There's this one, mama. Okay. See if you can find all of those words in the word search as you go through there. Okay? Now, you're all doing a great job, and you really seem to be picking this up pretty quickly. Now, next time we're going to go over the materials again to review them, and then we're going to read a book in Spanish. Oh, and let me remind you of one thing. When you're talking about your father, if you call him your papa, make sure that you call him your papa. Because if you call him your papa, you're going to be calling him a potato, because that's how they say potato in Spanish. So remember, it's papa. Don't call your dad a potato. I tell you what, now it's time to say goodbye. And for our parting song today, let's go ahead and sing that song that we did last time. Toda la familia está aquí. Okay? Remember, the words for these can be found in the teacher's guide and in the student resource notebook. So you can use those to follow along and sing with me. Ahora, canten conmigo. Toda la familia está aquí. Mira, mi mamá ya está aquí. Madrecita linda, como te quiero yo a ti. Toda la familia ya está aquí. Let's keep going with that. Mira, here. Toda la familia está aquí. Mira, mi papá ya está aquí. Padrecito lindo, como te quiero yo a ti. Toda la familia ya está aquí. Toda la familia está aquí. Mira, mis hermanos ya están aquí. Hermanitos lindos, son tan queridos para mí. Toda la familia ya está aquí. Toda la familia está aquí. Mira, mis abuelos ya están aquí. Abuelitos lindos, son tan queridos para mí. Toda la familia ya está aquí. Muy bien, siguen practicando su español. Adiós y hasta luego.